You're a snowflake, you have specific gifts, weakness, you have specific dreams, passions, things who kept you awake at night. And all these things is great because are things that God put inside of you. He say, I'm the truth. So I believe the truth is more than a concept. It's a person, because the truth is not just good ideas, it's behavior who is incarnated.
Today on Unfiltered Fruit, I'm excited to welcome Igor, a dynamic leader with a heart for transformation, a passion for bridging faith, culture, and impactful change, with a rich background embracing entrepreneurship, governance, and spiritual leadership. Igor brings a unique blend of wisdom, humor, and authenticity. Born in Brazil and now based in Switzerland, he's a lover of specialty coffee, a meaningful conversation that dives deep into history and cultures. Igor's story is one of courageous transformation and a wholehearted living, and I can't wait for you to hear his inspiring insights. Welcome to Unfiltered Fruits, Igor.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. I'm really looking forward to our conversation, and please just feel at home, comfortable. It's really as if we're just having a cup of tea.
Great.
And my first question for you will be to know, how are you today? How are you doing?
So, let's dive into it and be really transparent.
Yes.
I'm a bit tired. I'm a bit tired because, it's been a challenging year. A lot of projects,
Yes.
a lot of unexpected things that happen. Maybe we can dive a little bit afterwards on that. But I'm excited as well. I think if you sincerely ask this question to a lot of people, they will give you probably the political correct answer, like, oh yeah, I'm fine, good,
Yes.
ça va. But or some's gonna really say, yeah, of course I'm tired, it's the end of the year, and it's been like a crazy year, probably in their lives, but as well in the world. So I'm excited because in 1 month I have some vacation and I need it. But most of all, I'm glad. A few days ago, no, I like this weekend, I was making, sometimes we wait December to look back and look what we're grateful for, what were the highlights or the lows of the year. But I kind of already started because I have a friend from Brazil who was here this weekend and we spent some time together, and he's a leader that I really I look to it. I look, on. Of course, he's like 50 years older than I. So I look at his life and I'm like, okay, he's faithful with whatever he had in his hand. He's amazing what he's doing. He's great with this or that. And it made me think about everything new that I tried this year, every challenge, and the fact that I'm still standing. And it helps me already to look back and like be, like say, okay, I'm glad with everything, and not everything was perfect, but let's keep going. So it's I'm already like processing a little bit of the year as I'm going further.
Wow, your response is already very deep and very wise. And I would like for the audience to be able to know where you're from, because we've spoken and you have so many insights and wisdom. And it would be good to for us to go back to who is Igor and who was Igor as a child. And I remember through a conversation when I asked you about a character that was inspiring you, you told me about Indiana Jones, and I was
Yes.
like, wow, and he's quite I would say has quite character and leadership as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be interested um, for you to tell me why you chose Indiana Jones and what it symbolized to you at that age, and
Mm-hmm.
how old were you at that age when you were like watching him. And it would be interesting to see what it's symbolizing to you now,
Mm-hmm.
because Indiana Jones is not any type of character. He was leading many things.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be interesting to dive deep into that, where you're coming from, and then we'll continue.
Okay, great. So I was born in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was born there and lived there until my 11 years old,
Mm-hmm.
around it. And then I came here in Geneva. My father's Swiss German. My mom, she's from the north of Brazil, but I was born on the south.
Okay.
So it's already a little bit mixed.
Mm-hmm.
Brazilians, they don't look like typically like it's not the white guy
Mm.
or the black dude
Mm-hmm.
or or the Asian.
Yeah.
It has such a mixture of things.
Mm-hmm.
And and I was born there, grew up there. And when I had 11 years old, my father told me, okay, he's lost his job, and he's like, okay, we have the Swiss passport, why
Mm-hmm.
not you try
Mm-hmm.
over there? So we came here. So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't my choice at
Mm-hmm.
first, but and to be like true with you, probably until my around 17, 18 years old,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even further,
Mm-hmm.
I I I didn't want to be here. I wanted to go back to Brazil,
Okay.
because I was like, oh, here it's interesting, it's great, but people in Brazil, they are passionate, and so I never lived there as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you idealize things.
Mm-hmm.
People are
Yes.
like, oh, you're so comfortable. Things in Brazil is not that easy, and this and that. But I never looked at any place like a darkest place. Everywhere in the world you have people who thrive,
Mm-hmm.
people who do great things, and people who don't.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the context helps you a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't make for everything. But for a long time I was like, oh, Brazil, it's a place of opportunities, and maybe I want to go there, until I felt in love with the city of Geneva. I felt in love with its history. I felt in love, and was really interesting because as I was going into this process,
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend from church who asked me a question. He told me, of course, a lot of things special on the ecclesial word is happening in Brazil. Some people use words like
Mm-hmm.
revival or things like this, but he told me like, you can be a number there, or you can stay a pioneer things here. And I've been talking with a lot of entrepreneurs and
Mm-hmm.
asking them this kind of question, because especially some young entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, oh, it's really hard here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe to be a young professional, to work in governance and other things, that not that much, but sometimes to start like little as a young entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Sometimes you feel like, oh, it would be so much easier in the USA, for example.
Mm-hmm.
When people push it for
Yeah,
this
the
kind of
mental. Yes.
pioneer, the
Mm-hmm.
mentality really
Mm-hmm.
open. But some people need to stay and show that it's possible. So going back, sorry,
No, no,
you're gonna see
no,
it that
no, no, no,
sometimes I'm
yes,
passionate and I
it's no,
go
it's
different
okay. It's okay. It's good.
in different places. But so going back a little bit about when I was young. So today I've been living here for the past 23 years almost. I'm married.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 10 years then I'm married
Wow.
with a beautiful Brazilian woman from the north as well,
As well.
that I met here. I always joke that we would
Oh.
never probably meet over there, because we have 200 million people in between where we live, just on a geographical
Mm-hmm.
scale. But I met her here, been 10 years, and it's been quite
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And when I think about Indiana Jones, I remember when you asked me this question,
Mm.
it was right away. It
Yes.
was right away because when I grew up, my parents asked me, "Oh, what do you want to do, or even friends, family, when you grow up. And I find always cruel to ask this question to a kid
Yes.
because you're like, you don't know
I
anything about
think.
life. You have like 5 years old. Oh, what do you want to do? Of course, some they're gonna say, I want to be a
Yeah.
firefighter, or a policeman,
Mm-hmm.
or pet
True.
patrol.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I I answer Indiana Jones, and I think I was fascinated by the character because he doesn't do only one thing, and people cannot label him.
Mm.
He's not just a professor. He's not just an archaeologist. He's not just a hero. He's not just like try to recover
Mm.
things, and he's doing many things as he travels the world. So he has this adventure spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as he does this, he has friends all over the world, like the right people at the right place, the right
Mm-hmm.
connections. Um, on the same, at the same time, he discovered things who are hidden. And if I take these elements,
Mm-hmm.
I probably when I was a kid, I was fascinated by this because I believe these things was already inside of me,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't have the vocabulary
Yes.
uh, to the language to explain this.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're a kid, maybe you see some things, you see like deeply some things that fascinate you, but you don't even know why or
Yes.
how or
Yeah,
anything.
that's
A-
unbelievable.
And as you grow up, I'm looking at the same things, and now I can put some language on that. I can put some words. I can say it. I like travel. I like discovery things because I'm really curious. I love people, so I have friends all around the world, and I try to keep in touch the most that I can. I had while doing therapy a while ago, and I have uh, my therapist. He was like, Igor, some people are paid to just manage all this kind of relationships that you do. So it's a lot of work,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh yes, my God, it is. So I would say all these characteristics, especially to not the label
Mm-hmm.
one. Now I can see it that these things were already inside of me, and I just discover it as I grew up.
Mm. You said already a lot of really interesting things, and it's really beautiful to see how what you saw as a kid and you couldn't even articulate it,
Mm.
that it's now being projected into the person that you are today.
Mhm.
And from our conversation, I can see how you're a person of so many layers. It's exactly you. And it's fascinating to see that you were attracted to that. And as you have grown, somehow there's so many elements that is merging with the character of Indiana Jones. And you mentioned how you left at 11 years old,
Mhm.
Brazil. And as we've spoken, I've seen how you've moved to different countries, even from a young age within your leadership. And I would be interested when you did that transition and you left um, Brazil and coming here. Did you have any? Because Brazil and Switzerland is quite different.
Mhm.
And with that interest that you have about anything that is international cultures and all, did you have any culture shock or any challenges in order to to accept your new
Mm.
environment? Because you also spoke about entrepreneurship as well, and I would be curious to see how did you manage to go through those different changes, because
Mhm.
changing countries, and then you spoke about entrepreneurship, you spoke about church, and those are powerful elements, I
Mhm.
would say, in the life of someone. And it will be good if you could unpack how did you navigate also, and how did you enter also into the environment? Were you born already in a Christian family, or were you led through someone? And also, even just to think about entrepreneurship, it's not something that sparkles to
Mhm.
everyone. Or if you could also unpack that. So I'm already asking you a lot,
No, it's good.
but it's just that there's so much, and
Hmm.
I want to bring that to light.
Yes, thank you. Um, so probably let's take by
Yes.
pieces. Yes, was a shock to coming here, especially because when you are young, you don't understand the your parents are giving you a new opportunity of language, culture, and everything. When you're 11 years old, the only thing you think is they take me out. They are kind of like it's like a plant. They take me out of my soil and try to plant me somewhere else. And I left all my friends there. I left the word that I knew to a no word. I always joke about around that when I arrived here, I went to a hunger strike, and I just say, okay, I'm not gonna eat until we go back to Brazil. And I remember we arrived at a neighborhood here. It's called La Jonction, and there's like a street just that passed just in front of our building. We were on the first floor, so and I didn't have like any friends. I didn't start school. Was the 24 August 2003, and I remember that I took a chair, put it in front of the window, it just stayed like this and counting the cars coming and everything. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna eat, and we need to go back to Brazil. And what saved me, it's my father took me to back in time was La Placette, was Manor,
Mana,
to
yes.
kind of a little mall, and he bought me my first video game, my first Xbox. So then I'm like, oh, it's not that bad here. When you're a kid,
Yes.
priorities change it. But what I want to say about this, it's yes, it wasn't that easy, but then like I said, I know now I can put some language on that. I can put some words of it. I love people, and back then I make some friends quite of easily. First people who used to be like Portuguese, people from Angola, people who speak Portuguese or even Spanish.
Yeah.
When you arrive here, you enter into a special classroom.
Yes.
Because I'm arrived, I was in fourth, I think on quatrième primaire, so was before high school or anything. So I was quite of young, and the youngest you are, the easiest is to adapt.
Indeed, yeah.
You have much more future than you have like past to look at it.
Yes.
And as I grew up. I probably wasn't able to put some language, but I didn't felt quite right here. And I remember that when I went to Brazil was amazing for vacations,
Yeah.
but I didn't fit here. I didn't fit there. I didn't fit like anywhere. And I remember talking with a friend. Then he used to work at the UN. He used to work with debriefing, especially for people who are on war zones and people who are kind of humanitarian workers in difficult places. And I remember he introduced me to a concept called the third culture children, third culture kid. And he was explaining it's someone who's like from somewhere, but grew up somewhere else, or from a nationality or two nationalities, depends the parents, but you're not. So you kind of split your time between nationalities, cultures, and everything.
Yeah.
And when things are so different, because when you look at Brazil and Switzerland, they're like opposite cultures in some aspects.
Yes,
Brazil
course.
are a loud culture, and Swiss is more like a quiet culture. In Brazil, when you are some places like around the table, in Switzerland is almost like someone speak like us. Someone speak, the other listen, ask questions. It's a conversation. In Brazil, it's loud. People are talking everywhere at once, and so it's really different. We are an event culture base. Here's a time culture base.
Oh, yeah.
I did I study a little bit at the US, actually at Hawaii. I did what we call a DTS, a Disciple Training School in Kona, Hawaii. And one of our professors, uh, he was from Morocco. He married a Swedish woman. The guy speak like 8 languages, and they live like in Germany. And he was telling me about the first time that he arrived there. He met with some friend and some guy, and he's like, "Oh, let's grab a coffee." And he's like, "Oh, of course, grab a coffee. It's gonna be amazing." And the guy say, "Okay, let's meet tomorrow at 4:35." And he was like, 35? I like really precise, and he tried to joke about it. He's like, "Oh, why not 38?" And the guy say, "Yeah, it's true. My bus always start at 35. I need 3 minutes walking. Okay, 38 is good." And he was like shocked, and it was like, and so we are really a time culture. In Brazil, we are more like event culture. So or other places. So how long you gonna take in the morning before for your breakfast? Here people can say, "Oh, I need like 15, 20 minutes. I'm gonna grab back breakfast, then go take the bus." There's like, how long is gonna last your breakfast? So it depends, until I finish to eat. So the duration of something is the time that he wanted to take to accomplish this. It's not like always focus on minutes, hours, and everything. It's why sometimes I need to say it. Brazilians tend to be a little bit late on some
It's
meetings.
not only
No, only
Brazilians.
Brazilians. I'm talking about my culture, but there are other places as well. So of course there's these different things. And when I arrived in Brazil, I was like the gringo, the Swiss guy, the foreigner.
Yeah.
And then I was here, you're the Brazilian. And people always joke it, you don't like football, you don't play any instruments, do you at least dance? I'm like, oh, I love dance. Okay, at least it. But people, they have like this main ideas about what a culture should look like. And because of this filter, sometimes people, they look at you through this filter. And as a third culture kid, I didn't quite fit anywhere. And at first, growing up was tough because I'm like, I'm misunderstanding. Doesn't matter where. I'm a mutant. I'm an alien. And as I went on and I grew up, and I was like, I start to look at the benefits of it. I start to looking from the bright side of it. I start to looking, that not I am, but we are like snowflakes. Not one looks like the other. We are different, but not just on the way of living or thoughts or anything like it. We're different even on a biological level, or our DNA or iris or, or voice. Everything is like different. And you can look at this like rejecting the difference, or you can look at this welcoming, say, oh, if it is different, it's complementary. If I may, it's like even when I got married, me and my wife were really different. She's Brazilian. She's even more Brazilian than I am because I'm kind of half half. She grew. I spent more time in Switzerland, but I always say she's her DNA is Swiss. She likes to be discreet. She fits like really well. The person. I always joke. I say, your passport is from Brazil, but your DNA is from Switzerland. So she fits really well. We are having dinner with this friend Sunday, and sometimes she's like, Igor, more Swiss, more Swiss. You're speaking loud. You go try to, and sometimes she's okay. Now you need to be more Brazilian, more Brazilian. And it's really interesting when you look at this because I would say then like 10 years before when we got married, people would probably look at us and say, oh, you guys are really different. You're not opposites. And you can say, okay, opposites attract. But even if opposites attract, for them to be together, there's a bigger gap. So it's a bigger challenge. So it needs more work to make it happen.
Yes.
So we say, okay, maybe we start our marriage as opposites, but then we become opposites complementary. So we start to work as a team. And this is true on marriage, it's true on business, it's true on church, it's true everywhere. are you able to work with other people who are different, and do you understand then what you bring to the table? There's is a strength, but there's a weakness as well, and that's not bad, because other people's strengths can just come and
And
help
complement,
you,
and yeah,
exactly,
yes,
and
yeah.
fit together. And as a team, you go much, you don't maybe go as fast as you want, but you go so much deeper. You go so much, I would say, further,
Further.
and so I would say, and if there's something then people would probably get from this podcast, it's you're a snowflake. You have specific gifts, weakness. You have specific dreams, passions, things who kept you awake at night. And all these things is great because are things that God put inside of you. And if you manage to impact and learn all of these things, this kind of original design who is inside of you, you're able to move so much further and be so much stronger, because you're not gonna try to only fit and try
Yes.
to be someone else. There's this leadership podcast of this guy named Craig Groeschel, and he always says, be yourself, because the others are already taken. So don't try to be anyone else. Do you, but not do you in the way that we say it today, your truth, no, do you as a team. Not life doesn't happen at the singular. It happens at the
Yes.
plural. It happens with other people. We have this need for relationship, and you can either fight it and push it, or you can even accept it and accept it that you are like this puzzle who different pieces go on together.
There's already so many good things. Already where you spoke about being a snowflake, like being unique, and that your differences is not a weakness but a strength. What was it for you that was the revelation? Because it's easy to, when it's done, to understand that. But what was the moment that unlocked? Was it through hard times? Was it maybe through mentorship? Because a revelation is needed in order for you to realize your power, and in order to walk within it and then implement it within your environment, and also with your journey, because you've been into, like, you're interested into governance, into business entrepreneurship, into humanitarian aid, and so you have so many layers. So I think it will be good to understand where that awareness started, because then it helped you, I believe, navigate those different paths that you're mixing at the same time. Because mixing that multiplicity you can lose yourself, but it looks like you're very solid. So if you could, I will repeat my question is, what was the element that unlocked? Was it through failure? Was it through a hard time? Was it through a wise counsel?
I think a little bit of all, because there's a great book who's called The Ruthless Elimination of the Hurry. I read with some friends, with my pastor a while ago, and probably 3 years ago, and it's interesting because I'm a guy who loves speed, doing things, all hands on deck, and many projects and everything. But there's a truth there. Sometimes we're in a rush to be built, to discover things.
Yes.
But everything who it's important takes time to build. I was speaking about my marriage. We just this year turned 10 years of marriage. There's amazing times, there are hard times, but there's most of all patience and intentionality through the time. People who are fit, it's not one day. It's constantly working. And sometimes we are in a culture who kind of, I would say, would romanticize speed over be constant through time. oh, you need to make some money, you need to grow fast, you need to this, you need to build. And sometimes you need to say, okay, no, you need to live your life, being constant, aiming to a goal. Even if this goal is just be less confused, try to understand and learning
Yes,
things, you
yes,
know. No
yes.
one is born ready, and I'm not even ready. Sometimes you hear people ask this question, like, if I figure out things, oh, there I have times I'm like, oh my god, what's I'm doing, you know. Or sometimes of frustration, I'm like, sometimes I even pray, I'm like, why three things, why not one, why cannot be this? I had some mentors. So I have one of my mentors was a Japanese guy, and he was like, say, like the way of the samurai,
Yes.
do one thing only and be perfect at that. And he's one of the greatest teacher that I know. I mentioned the guy that was this weekend. He just finished to wrote his 194 book. Okay, so he's 70 years old. But 194
It's a
books,
lot.
and it's not like little books. There are like some commentaries, some of Church of History. His book on church history is almost like 2,000 pages. So, and I was like, wow. And he's like, I've been 15 years that I've been doing that. I did my bachelor in theology, then my master's, then my doctorate. I preach it for, I don't know, every Sunday and even more, sometimes 2, 3, 6 times per week for 50 years old. Of course, I'm going to master something, but I only have to focus on one thing. And sometimes you can be a little bit jealous, like, how did you figure out that? What? How?
Yes.
Because you look at someone who's like 50 older than I, and he's almost at the end of his life. Oh, so he had the time to build it. And because we are such in a society, then we compare everything.
True.
Social media, we compare to each other. Oh, he's on vacation, he's on this, he's on that. But the thing with social media, no one posted, oh, hard day today, hard life, I just got knocked out, of life, I wasn't expecting this or that. No, people just show the beautiful parts of it, and some a little bit of the process. They don't show the whole process. So no, I'm not there yet, but at the same time, I think through three, I would say, domains, if I would put like this, help me, three dimensions help me to get where I'm today, that I'm more convicted and sure about
Yes.
things, about what is my vocation, and what I'm about to doing here on earth. And by the way, just before I
Yes.
dive into this, I love history.
Yes.
And we are in Geneva, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau was born here.
Yes.
And he was around the 18th century and during the Enlightenment age, end of 18th century. So when you look at this, sometimes we forgot, and I love. There's a word that we use a lot on political science and international relations that are a passion to me. Is the word zeitgeist. Zeitgeist, it means the spirit of the area. Okay, so what's the spirit of the area? What's the fundamental questions on people's mind? And when you look at this, I would say there's the zeitgeist was different before and after Rousseau. Because Rousseau and his way of looking at life in his worldview, he was more like I would say a humanist, but not. Don't want to lose myself. Like there's different kind of humanists. For example, John Calvin, who was a pastor here, like even 200 plus years before Rousseau. He was a humanist, but in the way then going back to old writings. There's this way. But when I say humanist here, or humanist worldview, it means that take God out of the center and put him man. So it means that now it's homo deus, homo God. So it means that the man as like God, he's the center of things. Even before, we thought that the earth was the center of the earth and everything went around. And then after Galileo and
Yes.
Copernic, it was different. We turned, okay, the sun is
True.
the center.
Indeed.
So for me, this is like, you're not the center. Forget it. Okay. Love yourself, have a high opinion of yourself, but not that much. I always
That's
say
very wise.
respect yourself, but not that much. So the thing is, I'm talking about this because you know, because he has this kind of worldview, he started to think about the man as the center of it, and he started to bring this idea of, oh, what people can do for you, what your government can do for you, what your surroundings can do for you. And the idea, the zeitgeist before that, even if you don't believe in God, it was okay. Even the cosmos create me. If I'm a random creature, it doesn't matter. I have something to bring on the table. I have
Table.
something to bring on
Yes.
earth.
Yes.
I think it was President Kennedy who said, like, doesn't matter what your country can do for you. What is important, what you can do for your country.
Yes.
You know. So I'm not saying that I indulge his points of view on everything, but what I'm saying is there's some truth over there. People would like normally I would say be born, grow up, and then at some point have a better knowledge that we have today about they have something to doing what they do even as work. It's like it's a vocational. You can do something. You can bless your neighbor. What you do matters. You know, so I'm saying this because I think we need to rediscover this. I think there's a vocational crisis today, and
Yes.
because
Yeah.
of comparison, but not
Yes.
that just this
True.
about different things. So when I take about three dimensions, three levels, I would say like it's God surrounding in yourself
God surrounding and
and
yes.
yourself.
Okay.
For me, you need to know God. Why? Because if He's the creator, who better than the creator to tell you how he created you, you know?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
if okay, maybe, you know, we're dressing the table to
Yes.
receive like some people. There's forks, there's glasses, there are plates and everything. And maybe you want to be a fork, but your creator say, no, I made you as a plate. Why you want to be a fork? You cannot cut it with the plate.
Yes.
So it's a funny image,
Yes. Yeah.
but you're saying like I would say there's something like searching for the original design, for the original
Yes.
purpose than God had in His mind when He made you. First thing, so searching for Him. Second thing, and I believe that there's another dimension to it. It's what I would call favor. When you're called to do something, you have favor. So it means that for example, I have some people. They are I admire a lot the engineers because they have
Why?
such like a way to look at life, such a logical intelligence. They're able to do things like really. I love teaching, but sometimes but really need structure when I teach, and it takes me a lot of time to do it because my mind it doesn't. It's not
It's
like this
not. Yes.
highway.
I
it, it,
understand.
it, it connects many things. It's not just my ADHD, it's something else. I think there's some, but I'm easy, but I have like a favor in how to connect with people because I know how to manage a conversation, not like manipulate it, but when I say manage, it's have this social
Yeah, social
intelligence, social
intelligence. Yes.
skills,
Yes.
and for me it's easier than for other people. When it's awkward for other people, sometimes for me it's easy, and it goes both ways. Okay, so imagine I'm trying to be an engineer. I'm trying to have this mindset, but I cannot do it. You know, I don't have favor in that. I don't have. I'm gonna struggle, and I'm gonna be average.
Yeah, because it's not your strength.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not your gifts.
Exactly. There's a test. I love my wife. She's like, I'm not a guinea pig. You try all your tests on me. I'm like, no, let's do the test. That is amazing. And we did a test of 5 language of love, and then the temperaments. Are you choleric? Are you like this or that? And so always try different things. Oh, let's do the Myers Bridges. Let's do this. And so the last one that I made her to do it
Yeah.
was something called Strength Finders.
Okay.
And Strength Finders, for me, is one of the best that I did until now
Okay.
because it's 200 questions. After you have like a debriefing with a coach as well, and it shows you don't know, it's like 24, I think it's 64 gifts. For example, charisma or openness, or like there's 64 kind of skills that everyone has. So when you're on the top 64, like the last one, you is the one that you use the less,
Okay.
and on the
Okay.
first one is the one they use the more. And
Okay.
normally the 10 first, or the top 5, the top 10, it shows you a lot of gifts. It shows you what you use the more, your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
So they give you this, and you can look and say, oh, this is my weakness, I should work on that, and this is my strength, I
Yes.
can use it.
Yes.
But they advise you to say, don't worry about the
The weakness.
weaknesses,
Okay.
focus on your strength.
Mm-hmm.
Because and they did, it's like something who is they have like 75 years of back testing, so it's been around for a long time. They have a lot of data, and they did a lot of tests. For example, people who read a bit, people who read more, people who have this or that
Yes.
gift, and they put them through a course for speed reading. And these people who, I'm gonna say some random numbers, but these people who used to, I don't know, read 100 words per, I don't know, 10 in 10
In 10
minutes,
minutes. Mm-hmm.
now they're able to do 400. But the people who already had some gift and were naturally able to read like 200, now they do like 2000. So it's exponential. When you work on your strengths, you discover it is like exponential, you know.
That's great.
Yeah, so I found really interesting, and I did this year, beginning of this year, and it helped me to understand better. It's why I'm saying that it's not like a sprint, is a marathon. Is you start to learning a little bit more about you, how you work on that. Just to go back on Indiana Jones, it's amazing the concepts of in what he does. But when I look at the character, he has so much poor character. He's always angry and everything. So it makes quite of the beauty of the character.
Yes.
But I'm like, oh, you are always complaining. It's not the hero that you would look like. It's not like Superman, really virtuous guy. So it's always learning, discovering about yourself, working. I always joke like probably Indiana Jones should do like some inner healing seminary or something like it. So there's the dimension of God. So when you start to look at him, he's able to help you to look at yourself. And sometimes people are like this, oh, what's my vocation? What's my gift? And they sometimes forget to look inside of themselves,
Yeah.
because I believe that God created me with these original designs and he put things inside of me. I should less look at heaven and more look at yourself. Okay, what I'm good with, what of my kind of intelligence, what are my kind. It's Howard Gardner, who talks about the different kinds of intelligence. Musical one, kinesthetic one, logical people. So everyone has different kinds of intelligence. I think we have also a problem with education today because it's like only one kind of intelligence. It doesn't cater different kinds. And so some people thrive and say, oh, you're smart, and the others say you're dumb. But no one it is. They just different kind of intelligence. And probably I always say, if you have the right professor doing your course as well, the people who
Indeed,
exactly have the right intelligence to be at that place, they're able to unlock things in you.
Indeed.
So there's, when you look at yourself, it's like, okay, what are my gifts, what were my weakness, as we thought about, but what is my passion, what is like my dream, what make me stay awake at night, what touched my heart, what hurts me, And I remember I have this friend while ago, when I was young, I used to do, it doesn't look like today, but I used to do rap. So I was in a rap group, and we did tours, we did CDs and everything. We organized some concerts. Right now, looking back, I'm like, oh, well, it was better to organize things than even to rap. But you're young, you try things, and was so much fun, and it's really interesting because at that point I started like to teaching, preaching, and doing things like, and he was like, oh, so and we are talking about vocations, and he's like, oh, why do you rap, where do you like to speak to with the public? And I'm like, I don't know, I just like it, everyone does. And he looked at me like,
No.
what? Everyone does? You know that one of the people biggest fear is to address a crowd, or like
Yeah.
a crowd, and you're like, people fear that. And I'm like, no. And he's like, yes.
Yes,
So
indeed.
you like something that people normally don't like that much, and because you're looking such in a little niche, in a little prospect, you think that this is the whole picture, but it's not. It's just some people, because they like the same thing as you like. You look at them, if this is a consensus, it's like it's everyone is like it, but it's not. It's only a little part of the population, and because you're drawn to that, you think that
You think that
everyone
everyone
does.
does.
And I was like, and when he told me, I was like around 17, 18 years old. So when you say about, oh, it's a mentorship, it's through some coaching, so it's everything. I would say that if you search for truth, you will find it. If you search for inside of yourself what God puts into you, and you sincerely not try to manipulate even or lying to yourself to go into a direction, but you just like try to learn it, try to find the truth, the original design. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's like a secret box, doesn't matter what I'm gonna find inside, I'm gonna embrace it. If you're really looking sincerely, authentically,
True.
you will find it. And you're going to find God who gave you this. You learn about yourself, and this is a hard thing. People help me with this. I did work on myself. I mentioned therapy. I always
Yeah,
find this
true.
really important today. Old generation, they had a problem with this. I think that sometimes we can go to the other extreme. It's why sometimes I say, okay, respect yourself, but not that much. Like, there's a balance in that. So I think would be important and interesting for us to have different things on our surrounded. So God, yourself, and your surrounded. What people around you, people who love you genuinely, who knows you, say that you're good at.
Yes.
Say in what they tell you. So I got married at 22 years old. Okay, I'm 32 now. So I was on the mission field. So I came from Brazil, start to study, and then go doing some work in church, then went on missions, live in Nepal, live in India, spent some time in South Korea, I spent some time in Africa, learning about myself, learning about God, helping people. When I came back, I did my army, and with the money of the army, it's what helped us to pay our wedding, and just before, so wedding were in July, I finished army on the long service in January. And I was like, oh, what should I do? I'm gonna get married, I need work. So I tried to send my CVs everywhere. Oh, there's a pizza place, they try to find someone like to serve at the tables. Okay, let's do this and that. And I remember that I thought with a good friend. He's still a good friend for decades, and I'm the godfather of his daughter. And he's like, you're good with people. I think you would be a good seller. Let me put in touch with a company. It was an insurance company. So this was my kind of big first job. And I spent 10 years work not on that specific company, but working on that field. And normally they don't take people that are under 25 years old, because I used to work with pensions and things like this. So normally, imagine I'm 22 advising people of 65 years old what they should do with their money, or so. But they took a chance with me, and then I start to going up and hitting targets, and they double, and I hit again, and then go on and go on. So of course at some point I changed it because I got really tired. Always like chasing the rabbit. But I had someone around me who saw something that I didn't saw in myself,
Yes.
and he helped me with it. Um, there's history. There's much into it because there's some amazing things into it. Just a little spoiler alert. I had something on my CV. I had this YWAM, this Youth with a Mission line on my CV, and the guy at the chômage, he told me, "Oh, this religious thing take out. It doesn't
He
add
doesn't.
anything." And I remember I told him, if someone's gonna take me, he gonna take me for who I am. So I'm gonna let it. And when I went in my interview, the guy who was interviewing me, he was a Christian. And he tried to push at me to see how my faith was solid. I didn't know he was a Christian,
You
so he
didn't
tried
know.
it. And why do you put that? What does this mean? So of course, wisely, it's some humanitarian work. I didn't say like missionary, but humanitarian work. So we talk, and at some point he's at some point I was just, it's who I am, and if you guys take a chance with me, you're gonna see it, that it's worthy. And because I have integrity and ethics, I'm gonna work and I'm not afraid to work if you guys take a chance. And afterwards he told me that I had so much conviction, especially on my faith side, that even the boss, my general, my like the main boss, this guy, the Christian one, was number two, the number one. He was like, so like, you're a man of such conviction, inspires me respect, so we want you in the team. It's why a 22 guy years old took uh, a workplace, and I was one of the first who is under 25 years old to get this place into the company. So you know, God, you're surrounded, and yourself. These are three things that we need to seek information to learn more about who we are, and
Yes.
what we have inside of us, for us to be good stewards and make these things grow into success and excellence, because this is what bring glory to God and make your life not only worth but a blessing for you, your family, and others around you.
This is profound.
Yeah.
Like, it's I mean,
A
it
long
looks like
monologue,
no,
sorry.
no, 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 no. It's not a long. I mean, it. You had to articulate it because it's when you generalize and we just say God. What is it really? But the fact that you have to start with yourself, because we can be, and I don't want to generalize, but as Christian, okay, God, we're waiting on God to provide the response, but He's already placed it within us. And sometimes it's not necessarily evident or obvious based on your upbringing. So it's good that you had to articulate, because everyone can have a different perspective on it, but to really seek the truth about it, which is not easy in the world that we live in. There's so many different truths. And even within those who follow Christ, you also have to be very discerning about that truth. So the fact that you unpacked, I think it was not a long monologue, but it was giving real practical example on what are the steps to take. It can be also some tests, to do, because maybe sometimes we have so many tools, but we don't know how to use it at our own advantage and for where we want to go. So I really like how you really unpacked it, and even with the surrounding, because you can see certain things about yourself, but at the same time, someone else has to see it, so that the favor is coming out as well.
Yes.
But it starts with you. And I think if it's starting with you, even if someone else is telling you about you, but if you're not seeing for yourself, it's not going to move.
You're not going to believe it.
You're not, exactly.
You're not going to invest it. If all you see, but there's no external proof, maybe you're lying to yourself, or you're trying so much something that is not true. If everyone says something, but you don't believe it, of course, you're not going to invest it. But you're gonna let them define yourself.
Yes,
And it's
exactly.
not because someone says something about you that it means that's true. I think for me, there's this conjunction of two realities. It's from inside out, but then there's the resonates from outside to help you to be more confident with this answer. You know, we
Yes.
are to take Jean-Jacques Rousseau again. He has, you know, one of his main works say that the men are innocent, and when people ask him about, okay, what does it mean, he say, oh, people don't have the capacity to distinguish between good and evil. No, as a Christian, I look at this, I'm like, when I read in Genesis something different, you know. But basically what he's saying, it's like afterwards he continues, and on social contract and different works, he says about the surrounded who built you, influence you. But when I look at the Bible, or when I look at my faith, I know that the transformation is always from inside out.
Yes.
And we are not called to be transformed by our surroundings. Of course, it can help us to shape what is here, but it's us to influence. It's us to be actors of this
Yes,
story,
yes.
not just spectators of it. And, you know, surrounded, I talk about people, but it's opportunities as well.
Yeah,
You know,
indeed.
when I started like when I arrived at my company, so of course you're the little young guy, so I was to make my place into it. And people, when you have like these general meetings with all the sellers, they're like, oh, does anyone want to do this role playing, or does when you want to present this product or doing this kind of work? Always like, okay, I need to prove myself. I will. And at some point I remember people saying like, how are you able to take, like, people are twice your age, twice your experience, how you're able with take this place in front of everyone, explain this product with so much confidence? And I remember telling this to the whole company. I'm like, oh, you know, I learned at church. So if I wasn't a young man who finds an opportunity to serve and then help my gifts to grow, when I had the opportunity to do something, I would not be ready. People say that, oh, success is lucky.
No.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
success is when the preparation meets the opportunity
Yes.
on the right time.
Yes.
Then is success.
Yes.
So it's everything that I'm saying about looking yourself, looking to God, is not random. It takes intentionality. It
Yes.
takes work.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. No. Thank you very much for that. And I just want to a little bit expand on how were you able to bring clarity to understand unconditional truth, because everything that you've shared is so important to understand what is transformation, that it comes from within and not from outside to us. And that's how the world is like bombarding us with so many information, but it should start with us. And that path of unconditional truth is quite sensitive. And if you could share a little bit on how you had clarity about that.
It's a deep question.
Yes.
I think
I'm not saying that you an expert,
yeah.
but I found that it's even personally,
Yeah.
it requires a big shift within
Yes.
us to question what is unconditional truth. And in the world that we live now, there's so many
Yes.
truth, and it can be quite challenging to
Yeah.
navigate through that.
Yes. I'm gonna be really straightforward.
Yes.
And maybe I'm gonna shock some people. I believe there's two dimensions on truth. First of all, there's the foundation. For me, a truth is true even if comes out of the mouth of a liar. So truth, it's unchangeable, unshakable. I believe that, you know, when you before, you know, if you took a look at the Ivy League, you know, the big, like, best universities in the world, just one of them were not created by a Christian, was Cornell. all the others. At Harvard, the slogan is Corpus Christus Veritas,
Okay.
the truth for the body and the Christ. Okay, so they took, because of secularization, all this out, and they kept the veritas, the truth.
Okay.
But sometimes I'm thinking, and I know this because I know some professors there, and we challenge each other. I'm like, are you searching for truth? Because again, to search for truth, it means leave the ego at the door.
Yes.
It means
yeah.
like, it doesn't matter if it goes on my sense, if it goes like on my way. The truth, I want the truth. I think if people are desperate for real truth, unshakable truth, you will find it.
Yes.
But like I say, it's a journey.
Yes.
It's a marathon. It's always searching for. Okay, and this, I would say, is the nature of truth. Okay. I think that today, and there's this, what we call the silent revival, the quiet revival. It's what's happening right now. We have a lot of people going to different religions, not just evangelicals, but Catholics and other. People are searching for something who is solid.
Yes,
Because
that's
we
true.
are in a world, and we try to deconstruct everything, and people deconstruct their identity themselves. So you need to destroy this idea, to try to build yourself again, and they find yourself in a place they don't have anything to hold on anymore, because they deconstruct everything. So I think people right now, they want something solid. Okay, and it's where I'm saying that I'm gonna shocking people. Yesterday I was teaching at church, and we just take one sentence on the book of John. The book of John, Jesus at 7 stands says 7 things about who he is.
Yes.
And he says, and was the teaching of yesterday, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. And no one comes to the Father if not through me. Okay, so he's not saying I'm one of the ways, or there's many ways. He say I am the way. He say I'm the truth. So I believe the truth is more than a concept. It's a person, because the truth is not just good ideas. It's behavior who is incarnated. So it means that it's not just, because some people are today in this feigning word saying, do as I say, but don't do as I do, But I follow a man, so Jesus, who says, who can say, no, don't just hear what I'm saying. Look what I do,
Yes.
So I believe he's the truth, and I believe what he says is true. So I try to find the principles of truth to build my life upon it. For when the storm comes, I will not fail, will not be destroyed or anything. I will be standing firm. Okay,
Yes.
and I believe then when he say, still in the book of John, say that he came to give you life and life abundantly. Sometimes we stop at life. Okay, especially if you believe on salvation, things like this,
Yeah.
you stop at life.
Yes.
Where's the abundant
Then
life?
live.
Go to the next level. Okay, so if you walk in him, searching for the truth, live with that truth, because he's not the GPS, he's not a map. He's the way, and he's the one who goes with you on the way. He's the one, he wants to go through the process. So when I say about searching God for original design and everything, what I'm saying, it's have a relationship with him, and as you go in the way, you're gonna discover him, he's gonna
Yes.
discover you, tell you who you are. So this is a relationship.
Yes.
And life is not meant to be lonely, it's meant to be an amazing journey who you're not alone. Okay, you have a vertical relationship with God, with Jesus. You have an internal relationship with yourself, because you need to manage yourself. Sometimes we talk about IQ, intelligence coefficient. We don't talk about AQ, emotional one. We don't talk about would say, I think I don't know if it's S or E right now. Let's say SQ, spiritual coefficient. So you need you're here to have abundant life. So it means principle. It means to build yourself. It means to apply principles in your life, not just because sometimes, I believe in this or that. I have faith, and I'm like, yeah, but your works,
Amen. Amen.
but it's by grace. Yeah, but there's some laws of natures, laws of success, laws of this and that. So sometimes people try to put things like, is this or that, but the thing is the tension of both.
Exactly.
Is not is truth and life. It's grace and law and principles. It's I would say it's faith and works. Some people, they don't say what they believe in, they don't explain it, but when I look the way they live, I'm like, okay, I understand the values of this man, of this woman,
Mm.
you know. So for me, it's important to understand the way, to search for truth, and to live fully life, you know. So I would say then, if you're really serious into find truth, forget about my truth, you know. I had an argue with someone who say, you know, truth, it's relative. No, yeah, he's saying like, one thing is sure in life, truth is relative. I'm saying, okay, if truth is relative, your sentence is relative, so it doesn't make any sense. You know, I'm like, if there's no absolute truth, what you say,
Mhm.
you tell me that what you say is not absolute, so it means there's relative, so I cannot take it seriously, you know. Or, oh, we need, if not proved, if cannot prove by science, is not true. And I'm like, say, but your sentence is pure, you know,
Yeah.
philosophical. You cannot prove your sentence by science, so what you say, it doesn't make sense. Sometimes people come with through like great punchlines, and
Yes.
sometimes through well made words and everything, and I'm like, are you hear what you're
You're
saying,
saying exactly.
you know?
Yeah. Yes.
So yes, truth for me is absolute. Truth for me is a person, and if you search, you're gonna find it. But again, and I go back from where I started, no rush. If you rush through life, you're gonna miss the beautiful
Mm.
things of life. You're gonna so much want the end, the outcome, then you're gonna not living the journey. And this is what we are here. This is one of the most important things. The outcome, it's incredible, is important. I'm going through eternal life, but it doesn't mean that I need to rush or not enjoy it or not having fun. You know, um,
Yes.
if I
Yeah.
would describe my life in one word, it would be fun. I didn't talk about, but the transition. I wasn't born in a Christian family. The transition happened to me when during a time of pain when my father left. When my father developed schizophrenia, I had around 12 years old, and like I said, I live in Jonction. I just arrived home one day, and he wasn't there. So it took me 7 years to find my father again. I didn't know if he vanished. He was where he lived, if he was dead or not. Um, and during this time, around 15 years old, I have an encounter of God. But because I have this bad view of what a father is, I
Wow.
just put
Yeah. You
this
projected
project
that.
into God. So I remember I was in Africa. I was in a humanitarian class, and I was the day that I was in honor invited because we raised some money to build library,
Hmm. Yeah.
and where all these officials of the village, for them is really important. You have the mayor, the professor, this chief of this tribe, and like everyone put the first, I would say the first bricks, and they asked me to be the representative of the class to do it.
Wow.
I don't know
Wow.
why. I don't know, probably people
Unbelievable.
better, but they asked me. I say yes. So favor again.
Yeah.
The
Again.
thing is, when I put it, I arrived at home and I was like, you see, I don't need you. I don't need you, God. I was an atheist, I would say, probably not fully acceptance, but I was struggling, and I remember that I got so sad after like trying on this confrontation with God,
Mm.
like Jacob, that at some point then I tried to kill myself. And I wake up in a hospital room in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, Africa. And there I had an encounter of God. And I make a dangerous prayer. I said, it doesn't matter what you ask me, I will obey, I will do it, even if it's hard. I will try my best to honor you, but in you're gonna give me, okay, we're gonna do this exchange,
Mhm.
an incredible life. If my life is not incredible, it's normal, I don't want anymore. The day if my life is normal, I step out of ordeal. This was my prayer. And since then, it's been incredible. It's been incredible. I know He's faithful. So
Mhm.
if I pass through a season who is not that incredible, it's not that fun,
Mhm.
I know it's not His problem, it's mine. I'm not obeying, I'm not doing things. But we are here not just to sorrows and suffering. And of course, not everything is rose in life. We're
Mhm.
not like teddy bears life. But there's so much worth it.
Mhm.
And if you search for truth, for abundant life, for the way,
Yes.
it changes everything on your way you live it.
Thank you. That was really good and really deep. And I'm sure it's gonna inspire or even encourage or uplift, because you really share some amazing gems that was personal to you, but also tools that have been helpful to you, and you've just been yourself, which is what we value, for this podcast. And before we wrap up, what would be the question that you would want to ask my next guests?
Wow, interesting.
Yes.
We always say then, questions are more important than answers, It's what make the conversation going on. Oh, wow. I didn't expect
You
that
didn't
one.
expect that.
No, that one, no.
Yeah.
I probably would say, I would ask if, yeah, I probably would ask if you would be able to define your life purpose in one sentence, what this would be.
Okay. So in one sentence to describe
Your life
the life
purpose.
purpose.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
that's deep.
that's deep.
Yeah. So
I take it.
okay,
Take it
great.
for the next guest.
Because this is something that helped me a lot. They helped me a lot. I would say that my life is to raise contemporary reformers. So when I do something, I don't expect to be the hero. I expect to raise other heroes. It's not about me. It's about other people. What I can do for them. So because of that, always love to ask these questions to people, because it shows the essence. And if they're not able to answer, they're gonna be frustrated, and they're gonna search for it.
Yes.
This main truth about who they are and their and their role or mission here on Earth.
On Earth. You have always the most wise response and very profound. And I really want, as we are wrapping now, to thank you. Yeah, really thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your willingness to be open, to be vulnerable as well. Even for me, it was really a good time for me to, even although we had a conversation already, but to just embrace what you're also sharing. Yes, thank you very much, and I hope you also had you enjoyed your time, and
Amazing.
it made you also reflect as well about your own journey of becoming, and we're very pleased that we're able to have you on Unfiltered Fruits.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. And thank you for the challenge. First time that I do something like this in English. So I hope you guys gonna enjoy it, and keep the good work. What you guys doing is really important. And I think you guys gonna give the right voices to help everyone who listens into it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Unfiltered Fruits. If our conversation with Igor has sparkled something, we would love to hear your own testimony, your thoughts. You can reach out to us on our social media channels. If you have questions for Igor or myself, let's keep this conversation going. Don't forget to follow Unfiltered Fruits so you never miss a moment of honest, joyful, and challenging conversation about the journey of becoming. Remember, this journey isn't about perfect performance. It's about inviting Jesus in, making space and letting his love flow freely. So keep your heart open, your spirit curious, and as always, keep living unfiltered.